Thank you all so much for being here. Again, congratulations on your nominations. This is an audience of your fellow SAG-AFTRA actors. So I actually really love to go back to the beginning and just sort of ask for each of you, was there like a light bulb moment where you knew you wanted to be an actor? Was it something that you were born always wanting to do? Or were you, I'm sorry, there's a dog in the background. That's so cute. I'm sorry. I've got dog fever right now.
Get rid of them?
No, please, no. But now we have to start with you, Sharon, because that dog is adorable.
Well, I went to a convent school, and the nuns who ran the school, they were big fans of Gilbert and Sullivan. So they would put on operas every year, Gilbert and Sullivan operas. So I played the Lord Pooh-Bah at our local town hall. But so maybe that, but in actual fact, it was a failed audition I had with Jim Sheridan for The Field. He just I was an art student in Dublin. I was 19, and he approached me in a cafe and said, "I'm casting this film." And I went along for the audition and did terribly because I'd never done anything like it before. And like that, weirdly, was the thing that made me go, I really want to do this. I really want to try and get good at this.
Having a terrible audition was the thing.
But it was a terrible audition.
But you know what I mean?
You're like I like this feeling.
It sort of made me want to get better. It gave me a buzz, whatever it was, just doing something for Jim Sheridan. It was so surprising. Like,
wow.
So it sort of felt like I should do something with it.
Did he literally just approach the cafe? I mean, did you know who he was? Like,
I knew who he was. It was for the gypsy girl in the film, and I'd just been in a car crash. This is way too much information and not helpful. No, but I was very bruised up, and I think I looked like a bit of a mess, So he thought that could be the girl,
Wow, he was incredible.
And now I want a whole story about this convent that did Gilbert and Sullivan.
Yeah.
Bella, for you?
Well, I was the angel in the nativity in my school show year after year after year. I never progressed to Mary or even a shepherd. But I loved that and did local theatre since I was really young, but never where I'm from from Leicestershire, which is just a random county in England, and acting isn't a job there. So I never knew that you could actually be an actor as a job. Obviously, I watched people on the TV and stuff, but I never made the connection. And then there was this group in Nottingham called the Television Workshop that I auditioned for just as another thing to do. I was the annoying kid that did everything, all of the after school clubs and stuff, and ended up getting into that the second time around. And then casting directors and stuff know about these kids at this workshop and started getting auditions and stuff from there. So I never had the dream of being an actor because it wasn't even a dream that I knew you could have, I suppose. And so I sort of fell into it by accident through this group. And then I remember my first time on set. It was the first time that I ever felt like I really belonged anywhere. So then from then I wanted to do it forever. But I had the privilege of doing it I never did it because I needed to work. It was always for the enjoyment of it. I think 'cause I started so young. I was 11 when I got my first job. So, and that sort of continued, thankfully. It's it's still something that's just for the love of it.
Was it Game of Thrones, your first thing?
It was, yeah.
Wow.
What a great first
right out of the gate. That's amazing.
Yeah, that was an incredible performance.
Oh, thank you. I think it was good because I wasn't intimidated by it at all because I didn't have the expectation of I'm going to be an actor. I didn't have any of that, so I was just loving it all.
Wow. Did you know the show?
I'd heard of it, but I was too young. I didn't really know.
Yeah, I wouldn't have let you watch it.
God, that's great.
Yeah.
You're too young to watch it, I think.
Yeah,
almost. Sterling, for you?
Similar to Bella, I wanted to be an athlete, I think, when I was young. And then when I got to a certain age, I thought I was going to be an entrepreneur. I was an economics major when I first went to undergrad. and I had an internship at the Federal Reserve Bank in St. Louis, Missouri. And I just didn't think
Oh,
that, even though I acted in high school, like I did 2 plays a year, I did a musical over Thanksgiving weekend, and then I did like the straight play later that year, and always enjoyed it, like loved it to pieces. But it wasn't a practical pursuit in my mind. You got to go make money and contribute to your family and contribute to your community and da 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 da. But then I got to undergrad and I did my first play, and it was Joe Turner's Come and Gone by August Wilson. And I'd gone to a college prep high school that didn't really feature a lot of Black playwrights, so to speak. So it was the first opportunity that I had to play a character that was written as of African descent. And it felt like home, like it felt just amazing. And I was like, oh, I had this dawning. The money wasn't even the important thing. It was the feeling that I got from doing this thing,
yeah.
from living and illuminating the human condition, et cetera, that brought me so much joy that I was like, all right, if they decide to pay me for it one day or not, great. But this is the thing that I love. So just do that thing and everything else will take care of itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm curious, when you were, in high school doing musicals and shows, was it a lot of comedy, or even then were you like a dramatic actor?
A little bit of both. There's Noises Off, there's West Side Story, then there's Godspell and Cabaret.
You in West Side Story.
In West Side Story, I was Riff, womb to tomb, sperm to worm,
Man.
baby. What you talking about?
What I would give to see you in any of those shows.
Bless
Yeah.
you. Maybe one day.
Incredible.
Maybe one day.
Britt, for
Oh,
you?
man.
So in college, I was a double major in art and theater, and so I was often designing scenery and costumes alongside being in the acting program. And Northwestern has this great student-led theater program, so like you can direct and write and produce your own stuff. And I was often building the sets of the shows that I was also acting in. And I remember this one show, we were doing a Q to Q, and I built the set. I was super proud of it. And we're doing the Q to Q. I'm on stage, and part of the set starts to fall down. And I run off stage to grab my power tool to try to put it back on. And they're like, Britt, we need you on stage to be doing this lighting cue. And I had this moment where I was like, I need to decide between two platforms. And so I scaled back the design work my senior year. And but yeah, I'll never forget holding that drill and just being like, this is the moment.
Up until that point, Britt, was it like a 50-50 thing? Like the enjoyment derived was equal between the building and behind the scenes and being in front as well?
I really love, I still make a lot of things and use like visual art even in my acting, but yeah, just getting to build a world that then people like go and inhabit, that was really exciting to me.
That's dope.
So you know your way around a power tool. That's handy to have on set. Adam, for you?
I guess it was kind of like two things happening around the same time. One of the first one was I was like 8 years old and I saw Raiders of the Lost Ark with my family. And it was just sort of this watershed moment for an 8-year-old. But it was like, it wasn't like, oh, I want to be an actor. It was whatever that is. I want to do that. Like that looks so fun. And I remember trying to articulate to my mom afterwards what I had just seen, and I couldn't even describe. I was so excited, trying to describe the excitement and the thrill of it, but also the laughs of it, that there were like hard jokes in it and it was funny. It just sort of turned my whole world around, but I wasn't sure that was a thing. But then soon after, they started shooting in our neighborhood in Santa Cruz. They were shooting a mini series version of East of Eden, and they were using our neighborhood because there were Victorian houses in our neighborhood, like kind of broken down old Victorian houses, but they looked like from the period, and the actors had their trailers, and Jane Seymour and Richard Thomas and these actors walking around like Jane Seymour in like a petticoat walking down the street and getting into her trailer just sort of blew my mind. I had never seen any. They covered all our streets in dirt and there were horses. It was just this huge, like the circus came to town for like 4 days. And I just couldn't get enough of it, watching all of it happen, not totally getting what it was, but knowing that that looked like that's the thing to do, you know?
I still feel like that when I go on set.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I really do.
Totally. Like even walking onto a stage and being like, oh, this office isn't a real office. They built this is still totally amazing.
That's so true.
Yeah.
I was doing some writing in a set office on a studio last week, and I was like, this is just the greatest buzz ever. This is not a real office, but I'm using it as an office.
Totally.
But with each one of those, dude, was it seeing Harrison Ford? Was it seeing Indy? Or was it just, okay, gotcha.
Was it seeing Harrison Ford? What was the second thing you said?
No, seeing Indy and seeing, like, I was curious, like, is it just movie making that sort of intoxicated you, or seeing like that dude up in front with the hat and the whip doing his thing?
I think it was the dude and the fact that he just kind of reminded me of my dad.
Yeah.
And he was so funny and so handsome. And Marion was really strong and didn't take his shit. Like, I just loved them so much. And I think it was just the right age. And I just fell in love with the whole thing.
I got you. Okay. That was my question. Thank you.
You've talked before. I know how influential Raiders of the Lost Ark was to you. And I don't think I've ever asked you, have you ever met Harrison Ford?
No, I haven't.
Really? Not like some Apple mixer or something?
Yeah.
No, I went to the premiere of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, but there was so crowded. There were so many people there. Afterwards, I just went home. I didn't want to but I guess that probably would have been my shot.
Well, I think he's a nominee.
He's a nominee, right?
Maybe this year.
Right.
Maybe this is the time.
Right. Oh my God. No.
I mean, isn't that one of the cool things about this business, is that you get to meet and maybe even work with people that like you grew up admiring or wanting to emulate?
100%.
Yeah. It's intimidating though.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No,
it always is.
You guys still get freaked out when you work with some? Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a few people. There's just a couple of people that I get super duper giddy about.
Oh, like who? James Marsden?
Meryl Streep first. Let me listen. I'll wax poetically about my cast in a second. But when I met Streep, you are talking about a black dude blushing, like I turned bright. And it's delightful and wonderful. She's awesome. Dude, Marsden, Julianne Nicholson, fellow nominees this year, I absolutely adore. And what it's always nice is not just meeting people that you're a fan of their work. You actually find out that they're good people. That's the sort of icing on top of it all. It doesn't always go that way, but more often than not, I would say that it does. Like, I think people think of us Hollywood elites, which is still a funny thing for me to say when people refer to me as that. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. Like, I'm like, what are you talking about? But it's like, it's just people, right? And when you meet good people that just happen to be really good at what they do, that's what makes the business really so much fun. And we all do work on shows that take a long time to shoot, et cetera. If you had to work with people whose company you didn't enjoy, it's a little bit more arduous.
Yeah,
what a bummer.
Most people are good people, like in the industry, I've noticed. This like misconception of like the divas and the like crazy directors, like it's rare. It's more rare that is the case.
Agreed.
I think that's largely a thing of the past. I think you're right.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, Sharon, you get to share scenes with Fiona Shaw, and I don't know that I'd be able to articulate anything.
It took a while. I mean, myself and our series director, Dervla Walsh, went to meet her. She'd only read one script and she'd seen the first season and we knew she liked it, but we just had this short amount of time with her to try and, convince her. And I just lost all my words. I mean, everything I said just sounded so stupid. And So she left and we were like, all right, that's that then. And then I was so desperate for her to do it. I just wrote her this email after going, just trying to make it a little more understandable and succinct. And then said, if I pitched you the story for the first season, you would have thought it was insane as well. So, come on this ride with us. But we're so in awe of her. She's, by the way, like the best person. I hope you all get to meet her at some point. She's hilarious. She's so playful. She's so in the character, but in a really fun way. She just it's not like she's in the character all the time, but she's there a lot. And she talks to the director through the character, and she's just thinking up stuff all the time, and it's a really giddy thing to be around. It's very, very fun. And she did a performance one day, I can't remember what episode it was, and we all this sounds quite wanky, but we all just applauded at the end because it was so good, and she just blew our mind every day. She can do it all. She's so funny, she's so dramatically brilliant, but she just inhabits it, in a way that's you're kind of mind blown by it, It's really inspiring.
Yeah, she's incredible.
Dope.
And Britt, you have to work with Adam Scott, which has to be intimidating. But there's also John Turturro and Christopher Walken. I mean, your whole cast is insane. Do you ever have those moments where you're doing a scene and you have to, because you also, Britt, in season 2, you really have to be kind of mean to John. So I would think that would be scary.
It's just really painful to work with Adam Scott mostly. It hurts my feelings all the time.
Yeah.
No, actually, when I was in college, I was watching Party Down and was just such a fan of Adam's. And I remember thinking man, if I could make jokes with Adam Scott someday, wouldn't that be so cool?
Little did you know, it would be a nightmare.
It would be so awful.
You guys don't have a lot of jokes together, but yes, I get it.
Yeah, it's true.
It's all the joke about our snacks offset that we like to make.
That's right.
But yeah, it's a treasure trove of total heroes on the set. I remember one day Zach and I were watching, we peek into a scene with Turturro and Christopher Walken, and we couldn't help ourselves but actually peek in too early in the scene, and we were just full on in their eye line. And Christopher Walken came over very nicely, and he was like, "Would you guys mind stepping around the corner?" We just hid like little kids, and we were like, "Oh no!" But to just see these, incredible artists front row seat, it's such a gift.
I like that when you said you imitated Christopher Walken, you didn't do the voice.
That's what I was going to say too. I was like, does everybody have a Walken on set and they just don't want to do it?
What's so weird is when he's actually there and he says a line like Christopher Walken, it's like, oh my God, it's actually a thing. He's doing it. And it's just how he talks. Yeah. And you getting to watch him. I didn't get many scenes with him, but when you do, holy shit, it's amazing to watch him. And also the thing that blows my mind about watching someone like Christopher Walken is when you're there watching him work, he's just an actor doing his job, and the takes over and he's like, oh, okay. And he walks back to his place to do it again. And you're like, oh yeah, and there's a magical quality to these people that you're always applying to them. But then when you're there, you're like, oh, we have the same job, and he's just trying to do it differently or better. And it's mind blowing.
Bella, coming into season 2 of The Last of Us, and by the way, unless anyone's been living under a rock, I assume I don't need to give a spoiler warning, but there were so much of the first season was about the chemistry with your co-star Pedro Pascal. Was it sort of hard to continue on without him after that?
Yeah, it was actually. It's practically harder. I think the first season was so joyful in the experience of making, because you're sharing everything with this other human being who's just wonderful and funny and generous with every part of him. And then season 2, sort of doing the same sort of intensity of a show, if not it being more intense, and not having that consistent person that you know so well to like share it with was hard. Like the experience of it was more challenging. It definitely felt like more weight. Whereas before it was like a shared weight. So yeah, it was sad. I just he texted me. We were texting earlier saying how much we miss each other. So yeah, it was a different experience this time around.
I couldn't quite believe it when I saw it happen. I was like,
I
no,
know.
he's not dead.
No, you keep
It's
thinking, oh,
crazy.
surely he's like the lead character to get back up. It's like Game of Thrones thing. They kill off the
Yeah.
Yeah.
lead characters, and you think that they can't possibly do that, and yet.
And like Sopranos, there's an amazing history of, very confident TV just killing off characters that you think could never be replaced, and alongside everyone, it's an amazing thing.
Yeah, but it was important for this season. I remember the conversations happening about like when I was sort of sat in the writers' room for a bit of season 2 just to observe, and there was conversations about when it should happen, and hearing them, Craig and Neil, the writers, talk about it needs to happen as soon as possible because it's the catalyst for like the rest of the story. Sort of made sense to me. I'm like, surely you can't do it in the second episode, but they're right. It is. It's the catalyst for the continuation of the story. So yeah.
And I've talked to Craig and Neil about this, and they've apologized profusely.
Yeah, good.
But did you know going into like even season 1, because the game, this is how it plays out, but at the same time, things change. There's an episode in season 1 that was hugely acclaimed. That's a huge departure from the game.
Yeah, no, I did know from the get-go that this was going to be a thing. And I think that was also, I had so much anticipation, like the whole of season 1, I'd sometimes like think about it during the most tender, beautiful moments with Pedro. I'd be like, well, this is going to all end at some point. So yeah, I think I was very aware from the beginning, and actually reading the script for that second episode of season 2, I like knew what was coming the whole time reading the script, and like I cried at the end. I've never shed any tears reading any scripts before, but this one broke me a little bit. And then the actual filming of it was just this like super intense day of just, yeah, we just did it all in one day. And seeing Caitlin Dever's performance in that episode as well, she was so terrifying, and seeing Pedro just beaten up there on the ground was, yeah, pretty awful, but hopefully impactful.
There's this synchronicity that maybe you guys can speak to when you have a relationship with a character on screen and it sort of parallels the relationship that you have as an actor with that person off screen. And you're like, oh, I'm going to miss Pedro. I'm going to miss the kid. But like, you're like, there's no acting that you have to do because you love this person. Now they're gone,
Yeah, exactly.
I was thinking in a way, it's kind of nice that you guys knew. So in season 1, you knew how special your time was together and you wouldn't take it for granted, or not that you would have, but it just kind of probably made everything have more special in a way because you knew it was finite.
Yeah, definitely. And then when he came back for this episode 6, the flashback episode, that especially was like, we were holding on to every moment of that because we knew this might be the last time ever that we were going to be like Joel and Ellie together.
You mentioned that he just texted you. Does Pedro Pascal use a lot of emojis?
No. Barely any.
You just had to know. I mentioned obviously The Last of Us, but all of your shows are like some of the most talked about shows right now. Like they have these fan bases, and also just people, as soon as those episodes are out, they want to talk about them. For those of you, coming off a really successful first season, coming into a second season, was there any trepidation about, sort of living up to the first season? And Sterling, for you, returning to TV after the huge success of your previous show, did you have any qualms?
Man, like, I just try to focus on doing my job to the best of my ability. Like, once the audience gets it, it's theirs, right? Like, your job in part now is to promote it and hopefully help to drive eyeballs to it, that you did something that you're proud of and you hope people get a chance to check it out. But once they consume it, it's like, they get a chance to do with it what they will. Like there's so many things that I think were completely and totally unintended with regards to when we dropped the show, what was going on in the world at the same time, billionaires in bed with politicians, et cetera. Like, well, that's just a thing, right? And then you're like, this is close. This is closer than I thought it was going to be. So, and then everybody takes it and runs with it. So I just hope they enjoy it at the end of the day. That's it.
Anyone else? Yeah.
I felt pressure for sure. I really did. I was very anxious. I mean, it was even to go again, even to sort of, I was like, well, that's it, that's done. They like that, but then, because people liked it and because it was a very intense but very enjoyable experience and a real family, and it felt very lucky to be part of that. So, giving it another go and then seeing if there was another story there was a challenge, but terrifying. But then once you're back in it, it feels so. It takes a while to feel right. I remember having the same thing on Catastrophe with Rob. Just sort of, we went to do the second season and we were like, is this what the characters sound like? Are we walking like them? Are we?
Right.
Are these the jokes to say? It all feels like it takes a little while to sort of settle into, and then once you're in it, I guess it's like Sterling said, you just have to, enjoy it and put it out there and hope it gets the reaction, the reaction that pays off, I suppose, because there's a huge amount of time and effort and heartache and all those things. And
yeah.
I was just going to say that, is there the heartache and sort of like, are people going to be enjoyed as much? You're a writer on your show as well, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think like writing scares the bejesus out of me. You know what I'm saying? Because coming up with the material that they just write it and I'm like, okay, I'll make it sound like it's something that I'm supposed to say. But actually having to write that shit, that's I get it.
Next level.
Yeah, and we had we had 3 full years between seasons, and so I think people liked the first season, and we were, you're worried about people liking it again, and if it's going to be too different from what they liked before, or too much of the same. I'm sure it's the same thing for you, Sharon. And so I think we were mostly worried about people being interested because it had been so long and losing them.
Exactly.
And so, you just have to Sterling, you just have to keep your head down and make the thing, like Sterling said, like that you love making, and make it as good as you can, and do your job as good as you can, and just hope that, because there's so much that you don't have control over, like once it's out in the world, and you just have to kind of let go a little bit at that stage, right?
Well, the part for me was getting to do this installation in the Grand Central Station where we'd wrapped like a year prior to that moment, and we got to put on our characters' costumes and like be together in a version of our set. No one could hear what we were saying, so we were improvising just random stuff. But to get to be with each other in the world of the show in that way, while we were releasing it to the world, it felt like this, I don't know, it was like this fun art project as opposed to like a red carpet premiere. It was just us together, remembering what it feels like to, when you put on that costume and you're like, oh, here I am in the shoes. And it was just so fun. I'm kind of like, I feel like every premiere should do that. You just get back into character for a
Yeah.
and put your costume on. And then, it was just the best kickoff to that press tour.
By the way, that's the best kind of improv, just FYI, where the audience can't hear a word you're saying.
It does take the pressure off somewhat.
Yeah. Everything looks brilliant.
MOS, baby. MOS.
That's right.
I remember seeing that installation and being like, that is the most genius idea. I can't believe it was so long between the two seasons. Like the first season was so brilliant and captivating. I don't binge a lot of stuff, but I binged season one of Severance and was just so like, yeah, I think the excitement for the second season definitely wasn't gonna go away. But did it feel easy to like be back in the skin of like the characters after so long, like 3 years? Was it like a very natural like, oh, I'm back, or was there any sort of like adjustment period to like stepping back into those characters after so long?
Britt.
Without like spoiling too much in case people haven't seen it, I had a particular challenge because I was holding part of a storyline for about 4 months before I could like jump back into it, because I was doing this sort of nesting character thing. But I remember that being hard, holding what Helly went through in season one till like the middle of the season, which was maybe, I don't know, by episode 5 or 6, it was like 5 months in. I'm trying to not spoil.
I think everyone's seen the show.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, yeah, just holding like the fact that Helly was just on stage and then she wakes up in the water. Yeah. That kind of holding that through line, and then holding what Helena's going through, pretending to be Helly, but not doing what Helly would actually have done, were she back in the Severance office.
Right.
So like Helly's impulses were like being like, she wouldn't do that, inside of me. And I also felt bad deceiving my friends the whole time.
I'd love to see your script. It must be marked up in all kinds of different highlighters and keeping track of Helly pretending to be Helena and
yeah, it's a visual tornado.
I feel like now that we make TV shows and we have these like 18-month or more breaks between seasons, it feels like once you start shooting again, to me, it feels like, oh, this must be what it feels like to make a sequel. Like everyone's back together again. And rather, because usually back in the day, after a hiatus would be like 3 or 4 months, and then you'd be back at it making your show again. But now it's these long breaks. So anyway, that's kind of the feeling I get when it's been a long time, is like, oh, is this what it felt like to, make Police Academy 2?
Well,
Exactly.
yeah, it is. And also that thing of, it needs to be the same. Like there needs to be, an audience kind of wants it to be the same, but it also has to be quite different,
Always.
So it's a real balance, like just juggling, like giving the, not just tonally, but, you can't just sort of wheel out the same stuff. And even though there's something really great in getting to know your characters better. So, you know what they say, and who has a certain kind of chemistry, and it all kind of becomes easier in a certain way. But in your head the whole time you're thinking, it needs to do something different. Otherwise, what's the point?
Right.
When you were doing that installation, were you in character talking to each other, or were you just like, what do you want for lunch today? I'm thinking of the chicken Caesar salad, or
No, we were in character.
Yeah.
Right? We were.
Yeah, I was knocking things off your desk, and
Yeah, that's right.
came in and was like, we all subsequently broke our computers somehow by accident.
Yep.
Like they were functioning, but every single one of them broke by the end of it. And Patricia was crawling on the carpet, like trying to fix them as Miss Cobell. It was
Yeah.
Is your set, is it all in one studio?
Yeah, it's on it's 2 stages or 3 stages. I think it's three stages at one place.
Right.
Yeah. No. But like the main office with the green carpet and stuff.
Yeah.
It's that and a bunch of hallways on one stage, and then the other stages are like people's homes and all that stuff.
Does it get so tedious seeing the same thing every day, or like?
Yeah, it's like working in an office.
Yeah,
it's like there's fluorescent lights, and we get lost in the hallways trying to get to the set, And yes, it's
Get really sleepy in there because the ceilings are low.
yes.
Yeah.
And the carpet is this kind of blinding, like golf cart, like golf course green. Yeah, it's pretty disorienting.
Sterling gets to work in the White House on his show. I would
That's
think that
right.
would be like so easy, like a set like that. I would just hang out in there all day and take photos.
It is fun. It's a fun set to play in because like it reminds you of the West Wing and all the other shows that got a chance
Yeah.
to like the Oval Office, and you feel sort of special. It's nice. I dig it.
And you almost
cool.
be really good at keeping secrets because I'm sure people badger you nonstop about like Sterling for like if I had done that show, I would have been telling everyone, okay, just so you know, at the end, we're all inside a giant canyon.
Oh, you wouldn't.
I would. I would never be able to be like, I would never be able to not spoil it for everyone I know.
But you know, listen, like you guys know when you read a script or something, or you write a script and you get excited about what it is that you just wrote or you just read, you want the spectator, you want the audience to have the same experience that you had when you took it in for the first time. Ruiners are mean people. Like, mean people, they shouldn't do that. And Jenelle, shame on you if that's actually your instinct, 'cause that's not.
I have a theory that people don't want to know. Like they ask,
Yes.
but if you actually told them, it would be such a
They'd be upset
bummer
with
for
you.
them. Yeah, yeah. They like the feeling of wanting to know.
Yes.
That's true. People,
I know I like that feeling.
Bella about
Yeah.
the elements of nature and how it is filming your show in, all kinds of weather, all kinds of terrain.
it's interesting. I was the coldest I'd ever been in my life
I bet. Oh my God.
this season on the horse. It was not even a particularly cold looking scene, but we were like, my body started to like curl up into a ball, like on the horse in between takes. It was like an instinct where I'd like make myself small to conserve heat. Like it was crazy. And then we'd be shooting in like the middle of summer in downtown Vancouver in like jackets, like sweating and like overheating.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane. We do a lot of stuff in the studio. They actually built we reshot a bit of the forest stuff, and they, to make it easier, just like built a bit of the forest in the studio, which was crazy. But we were.
Well, I've done that. I've done cold acting. I mean, I've been in a really cold place, and it's almost impossible because your face
Can't
stops
speak.
moving.
Yeah, exactly. Especially when you're not supposed to be like absolutely freezing.
Yeah.
But it's a challenge, and the water stuff, like crawling out of the ocean and stuff, like we shot on the actual bit of the ocean for a little bit of that all night after I just had bronchitis, and so
God.
also like you're definitely battered with everything, but I mean, one of the benefits of being on a show that has some money behind it is that they're quite good at like trying to keep you warm, which is
Yeah.
but it's an assault on the senses, that's for sure.
I would love.
Do you guys, I find it so hard to act like I'm freezing cold when I'm not. Have you, like when you're shooting and you have a coat on and it's hot, I always have trouble like remembering, like, what do I do when it's cold? And it always feels so stupid. Like I never do it right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like what do I, like it feels so fake.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're good like that. You just keep doing this.
We had a sauna scene in the second season of Bad Sisters, and we were freezing and had to be boiling.
Really? Really?
Yeah. I mean, it was on a beach in Ireland. I mean, they're not warm places.
It's always when you do those ones and you like can see the breath, and you're like, well, clearly I'm not fooling anybody. My breath is like sparkling out of my mouth.
Yeah.
But they didn't turn the sauna on for you guys.
It was a pretend. We built it. It was.
Oh, I see. Okay, so it wasn't even a sauna. I want to go swimming, or at least experience being there. The spot where you guys swim in both seasons.
Yeah.
Yes,
it's amazing.
So
it really, truly is. There's something special about it. I don't believe in God, but you feel closer to God. So yeah,
cool.
you get a chance. Go.
I mean, as the show creator, couldn't you you could set a season in Hawaii if you wanted to? Bad Sisters.
I could. Do you know what? It was just a real joy putting Ireland on screen and showing it in a different way and showing aspects of it that hadn't been seen or weren't known. I felt really proud. Like I had extreme anxiety about how Irish people were going to respond to it, but when they liked it, I felt great. And so yeah, I just with the second season wanted to do more of the same.
Well, you presented
Although
it.
the girls asked a lot about going to Spain or somewhere.
Oh, really? You presented it in a new way, though. It's like this vibrant, colorful place that you don't see Ireland you don't see it shot like that very often. It's really lovely.
Yeah. Well, I think it's always sort of been, it's always had a romantic kind of ideal and a sort of maybe an almost sort of backwards looking, version of it. But to me, the modern Ireland that I know is so progressive and so exciting so I kind of wanted to show that Ireland, that modern Ireland.
Really cool. Tourism board should really thank you.
Yeah, they did.
Good. Good.
So great. You're all talking about having to pretend to be cold or having to pretend to be warm. I keep thinking, Britt, of the scene where Helly is being held under the water by Irving and how freezing it looks. And if you tell me it was actually warm, I will just think you're the greatest actor in the world. But I have a feeling it wasn't. I have a feeling it was freezing.
Cold. Yeah. I mean, we shot that in two parts. The actual waterfall that is actually the tallest waterfall in the world. We were there. It was like the temperature of the air was warm, but I remember being like, okay, I want to stick my head in there. I want to see what that would feel like physiologically. I want to see what effect that will have on me. And I thought I was like taking my cold showers in the morning, like getting ready for this, I can handle this. Nothing could have prepared me for the way that my head felt hitting that water. It was like I just smashed into a sheet of ice.
Wow.
And John and I had a system where I could tap and he could pull me out if something was up. And I go down and I'm like, wow, that was so cold. I come back, he pulls me back up, pushes me back down. And it was like the third time going out, my vision underwater started to spin. And I felt like I was about to faint. So I tapped him out and he pulled me out. And that was the extent of doing anymore. Well, no, I think I did one more take, but it was so shocking because the rest of my body was warm and just my head was freezing.
Wow.
So yeah. And then the rest of it we did in a tank because they're doing a Zali shot from underneath the tank. That was actually warm water. And I'm transitioning in that moment. I remember, well, Adam will know this. Ben has a thing about hair. And so my hair kept getting in front of my face for that shot. And Ben came up, it was sat on the platform. He walks up, he's like, hey, your hair keeps getting in your face. Do you think there's anything you can do about it? Like, Ben, my hands are behind my back. I'm not. He's like, oh, right. Okay. So we go back in. I sort of wiggle my head a little so that my hair flows up and somehow it works. And then he comes up and he's like, Britt, it just looks like you're holding your breath. And I was like, I am. I can't breathe under there. But what we realized is I needed to blow bubbles out so it looked like something was happening. Because when I was holding my breath, it didn't look dangerous enough. So anyway, sort of this play of oh, bubbles. That
bubbles equal danger.
Yeah.
The bubbles played. I felt like that.
These are the things they don't teach you, though, like in acting school, like underwater acting, pretending to be warm or cold when you're not. There's always something unexpected, I would think, on these sets.
Yeah, usually.
Totally.
And usually you sort of learn something as well, which is great. You know what I mean? You learn some kind of skill. I didn't know how to dive. I'm scared of water, but no, I'm not scared of water, but I'm not great in it. I never put I swim like an Irish mommy, like just like that. I had to learn how to dive because it was going to be an out on one of the shots. And so I was going to these like little beaches along the east coast of Ireland, like having these swimming lessons in freezing cold water, just regretting all my choices. But it was just fun to be able to learn to do something, a new skill. You know, it's I mean that. Did you know how to ride a horse before, Bella? Or
I weirdly had way too many lessons for Game of Thrones when I was.
God, of course, yeah.
I was like literally sat on the horse. That's it. But I had all these lessons, so I've like known how to ride a horse for quite a long time. But it's very different in Canada how you ride to compared to like the UK with the two hands. In Canada, it's like the Western way. So yeah, but I learned jiu-jitsu for this season. Like I had to learn how to fight properly.
Oh, cool.
Which was cool. Which
So
is really
don't mess with them.
yeah.
Riding a horse is not easy if you don't know how. Like it's hard, right?
Yeah,
It's also funny that it's something that everyone puts on their CVs, you know? Like
I know.
horse riding, French, sword.
I put horse riding on mine, and I had no idea.
Have you ever called on it?
I did, yeah, I had a role, and I got it, and they started giving me lessons, and it was so way harder than I thought it was going to be. And then after one lesson, thankfully the sequence was cut, so I didn't have to do it.
Yeah.
It was going to take months for me to learn how to do that.
Yeah.
I honestly thought that you said fighting a horse is not as easy as it looks.
Well, it isn't.
That too.
I was like, I missed that. I missed that on.
Well, again, thank you all so much for being here. Congratulations on wonderful shows and beautiful performances. I just want to thank you so much for taking your time to talk to your fellow actors. Thank you all so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks, Janelle.
having us.
Congrats,
Thanks, everybody.